Big story of the week. Friend.tech becomes massive ether money machine as NBA players FaZe Clan join in. So this was a fun one. We've seen slight variations on this in the past, something that kind of became DSO did something kind of similar a few years ago. So let me just kind of go into kind of the details of it a little bit. It's being called the new crypto killer app, and this is primarily because it's been so successful so fast. Within a week, it had over 100,000 users, and it got to the is it second or third highest revenue? No, I'm sorry, second highest revenue over right behind Ethereum as far as all crypto mechanisms involved, and it really drove up Base because it's built on top of Base. For anyone that isn't familiar, basically the way it works is that it's a way to kind of monetize the size of your social media following, and it does something kind of cool that we've talked about over the years as we've kind of talked to content creators and social media people about what Web3 can do for them. Is it can, if you can do something where if you give someone access to a token and they get the token, then they can join you in a private chat. They can kind of get themselves exclusive access to certain things, whether it's content or whether else, just access to you. And so it does that.
Definitely was like probably one of the coolest features that it offered.
Exactly. And it was, and because you can do a lot with that, basically. You can kind of build a, what is the kind of almost porn, OnlyFans kind of thing. You could basically kind of build your own OnlyFans on top of it, because if you give someone exclusive access to talk to you, you can share content with them in addition to just sharing yourself.
Makes sense.
So it kind of went through a few different stages. First, it was just the early adopters in crypto. You got folks like Kobe jumping on board, and he became just absolutely huge. He got up to, his profile was worth I'm sorry, what I didn't finish there is that, so then the owners of it actually get a share of the value that's moving through your particular friend.tech account kind of thing. The platform itself gets 10% fee is taken. The platform itself gets half of that, and your followers get half of that. So pretty cool. You get half of that, so you can share that with some of your followers. And then they get value basically because there's excitement about it, they can obviously flip it. So if someone discovers, an up-and-coming profile that's going to get really big, they buy it early, sell it late. And so the next stage of it was major kind of personalities and influencers and stuff like,
like sports people
and esports people, basically.
We're so sporty.
Yeah, very, very. And then lastly, what I just saw the other day was actually OnlyFans. Actually, literally OnlyFans accounts discovered this and figured, oh my God, this is kind of a wonderful way to monetize how big my following already is. So, fun. It went through a whole lot really quickly.
It dominated this.
It absolutely dominated. News. Yes. Now there's downsides to that, of course, because it's very likely that the SEC is going to come a knocking, because it's kind of overtly, breaking securities laws. You're selling like a share of this revenue stream that you're directly responsible for. Creating the value behind it. So I heard the
argument that just because it's called a share doesn't mean that it is a share.
Yes, but they don't even call it a share anymore. They changed them to keys. And so someone's pointing out that, like, just because you call it this, it doesn't matter what you call it. It is what it is, regardless of what you're calling it, kind of thing. So it's very likely that they're watching. We haven't seen any actual indications from them that they have been. But just the way it works, how fast it blew up, the fact that kind of anyone can get involved. They're not limiting it to who can buy access to it, et cetera. You're very much investing in the future value of this particular thing. It seems pretty much like a security, or at least it could be possibly interpreted that way. We'll have to see. There's counters to that. We'll see. Some extra layers then kind of came out that there was kind of a data leak involved. Basically, someone scraped their public API and found basically the database that relates the crypto wallet address on Base with the user's Twitter X profile, and a fair amount of other private information, and then they just put that up on GitHub. They quickly took it back down because everyone's pushing back, but because FriendTech themselves say that the data is from their public API, so it's kind of like, and it's all just scraped directly from that. It's not like it was actually a leak of an internal database. Honestly, I don't know how they implemented it, but it doesn't seem to me like they needed it to be a public API. It could have, been limited to only, maybe your followers would get access to that. I don't know. So that just seems weak, and certainly a weak defense against it, especially because I don't think this makes the point, but they don't have a privacy policy yet. If you click on their privacy policy, it says, check out our privacy policy on our website, and there isn't any yet.
Oh,
so
my God.
That's a little janky, who knows?
So the thing to me about this story, and I would have said this before it even happened, is that crypto really does an amazing job of exemplifying that which goes up must come down.
Yes, very much so. Well, that's the last kind of detail that I wanted to include. You actually shared this with me this morning. Anyone that buys tickets to Mainnet gets access to Masari's internal research documents and stuff like that, or pro research stuff. It's fantastic. Definitely use it. Buy it if you aren't already a Mainnet visitor, because they make some great reports. But anyway, one of those things basically pointed out it's coming back down, just like everything else. And it's unfortunate because it's definitely the pattern within crypto that something that blows up exclusive, not because it's really easy to use or because it's got really long-term usefulness and stuff like that. It blows up because people see the opportunity to get rich quick. And they do. Early adopters of these things get rich quick, and because they're influential, they get other people to get on board, and, it's the greater fool theory or the greater simp theory in this case, who knows. So yeah, it's definitely coming back down. The hype is going away. It was beginning of the week that it was hypey, and here it is at the end of the week already, and it's starting to die back down.
I know, it's just like 1 week, and it's gone
down
40%.
And 80% from their peak.
The higher, the other axiom. How do you say that word? Axiom. The higher you rise, the faster you fall. Something like that. I think that's another thing that we see all the time in crypto, and I think that it's just like one of those things that is. It's the opposite of what we want.
Yeah.
And it's, for me, always so baffling because somebody told me that I tend to bury the lead, that I am so much more excited about the long-term and nerdy details of something than I am about the hype, that it can be kind of a problem in getting the message out sometimes.
I hear that. That's fair.
But this is just the opposite side of that there's certain people in crypto that are super good at the hype. They're incredible at setting up the economics of their system so that it will just go to the moon really fast.
Yep.
But when that happens, it inevitably...
Exactly.
And that has been happening for so many years now.
Right.
And it's giving people a bad taste, and it's giving crypto a bad reputation. And I think it's just super short-term thinking.
In fact, I think I actually even talked about this when we were talking about this at the beginning of the week. I was worried that there's no actual value going through the system. It's not like anyone's paying money in that then gets split between people. All the value comes from the fact that the hope, as number go up kind of thing, is that you're going to buy low and sell high. And then, so you have an incentive to sell. And because you're selling, the platform takes a 10% cut, and then that gets split. So the parties involved only benefit when there's active trading. And the trading isn't just what if there's stasis? What if we get to a point where everyone feels like they have the profile that they want? Sure, that's never going to totally happen. But the point is, clearly, this was driven entirely by unrealistically high levels of hype, unsustainably high levels of hype, to where at the end of the week, it's no longer the very top story. Arrests happened, various other things happen in the industry, and because it's no longer the top thing, revenues are falling dramatically. So
this is, again, it's one of those things where it's okay, so on the plus side, setting it up so that it's going to go to the moon really fast means that it's also going to capture the news cycle. It's going to become the talk of the town. You're going to even get people who I think wouldn't normally give something like this the time of day to get involved, just because it is so hypey and exciting and driving the news cycle. On the other hand, most of the time, economic dynamics that set that up so that it would go to the moon so quickly aren't the ones that are going to be meaningful long term.
Exactly.
And what you're talking about there is that because of the way that it was set up, where you're only making money if it's being traded, means that it doesn't make the creator, who really the economics should be designed for, because the creators are the ones that need the sustainable income over time.
Right.
And so if it was set up differently, it could be some sort of like subscription kind of thing, where a creator is getting an ongoing source, an ongoing monthly revenue stream.
Right. One way to do that, we were talking about, is they could expire at the end of a month or something like that. Now, I mean, the value of that one's going to probably go down near the end of it, but the next one comes out, and now you have to, your following needs to buy them all over again, kind of thing. That way, it's like a subscription. And so there's the demand is more based on the access you get to the person, and that has itself a market value.
That's right. It's more based on the meaningfulness of the product than, the hype machine. And that would also ultimately, over time, have a more benefit for creators, and that really is, I think, where we should be focused. But hey, what do I know?